Youorns. Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for another edition of the Youorns 10-minute take on Middlesbrough 3, Watford 1, the final game of the season. The kickoff was 12:30 this afternoon, and Watford were lively and moved the ball with some speed. Speed was the name of the game. But unfortunately, speed was not the name of the game as well, because it cost Watford dearly in this game. Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for another edition of the Orns 10-minute take on Middlesbrough 3, Watford 1. The final game of the season, then, as Watford fall to defeat in a game, really, where Watford had a number of opportunities and were the livelier team of these two. A Middlesbrough side that are very hard to break down, and a Watford side who, under Tom Cleverley, appeared to be a bit more revitalized, finding a new lease on life and giving an effort that Watford fans can at least look back on and say they're actually trying to win the game. But this game was one of those kinds of games where Watford had a number of chances. They just didn't convert them. Poor finishing was the key today for Watford. And although they moved the ball quickly, they couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. There was no clinical strike from Watford, and they've lacked that throughout this season and seasons past. In recent seasons, this has been an issue. Finishing, end product, those two things are critical things in the game of football if you want to get ahead on the score sheet. Watford today had to play from behind after just 28 minutes, and defensive woes were the key there as well. Middlesbrough scoring through Latte Lath, who looked every bit the player that Middlesbrough have, a lethal striker, scoring at will, a clinical striker, a clinical finisher, and he hurt Watford today. In fact, it was three different goals from Middlesbrough that hurt Watford with that poor defending. We gave so much space to the opposition today, and they were able, through Luke Ayling, on loan from Leeds for Middlesbrough, is able to cut inside and make crosses in from his right side, our left flank, that really hurt us today, and there didn't really seem to be any perceptible adjustment to deal with that problem from a Watford defensive point of view. And as a result, Middlesbrough were able to pick us apart with relatively ease on all three of these goals. No closeouts, no close downs, a lot of space afforded, and that was what Middlesbrough exploited best. In the few chances that they had, Watford had more shots in the game and were a team that looked much more dangerous at times. Again, the finishing and the end product. The end product wasn't the problem, it was the actual finish that really let Watford down in this game. For me, end product and finishing are two different things. I've talked about this before. End product for me is that final pass in. The finish is, of course, the finish into the back of the net. And Watford did get back into this game after falling behind 1-0. It was a 73rd minute effort from Wes Hood off of the second consecutive corner that Watford had. Asprilla put the ball in nice and flat, and it was Wes Hood at the near post with a looping back header that went into the back of the net at the far post to give Watford a lifeline at 1-1. And it looked like Watford were going to try to stabilize the game there and level off the game and then kick on again. It didn't happen, as literally 5 minutes after that goal that Watford scored to equalize, it was Middlesbrough back in front. So then the game turned on its head again. And then 5 more minutes later, Middlesbrough added a third, and that was the game right there. It was, again, another defensive mistake, and there was so much space for Jones to put the ball into the back of the net. And Middlesbrough, in the end, were fairly comfortable in this one. Watford had chance after chance. Rajovic missed sitters. Asprilla missed a shot, fired it wide. There was a shot from Bio. He had a one-on-one opportunity in the first half, could not convert that. Waited too long before he shot the ball, and by that time a defender had come in to intercept him and block him. This is what's been happening all season. We've not been able to get that shot off first time. We're doing too much thinking, I think, in a number of these games, and we're hesitating too much instead of just going on site with our shots. And that really has been something that's hurt us. But I think Watford, overall, despite this result, You leave this season glad to get out of the season because it's over, and somewhat sad because you're going to now be 4 months without any football from a Watford perspective. Although there are the Euros, which of course involve your national sides, but 4 months without football, 4.5 months without football, whatever it is, from a Watford perspective, is a long time. But again, I will not be missing this season in particular. But one thing about this season that does give you some encouragement is that the Watford levels are better under Tom Cleverley than they have been with other recent Watford head coaches. You can see some of the formation of the things transforming under Val Ishmael. You saw some of that happen, but then it petered out toward the end. And of course, the real problem for Watford with Val Ishmael was I think the Ryan Andrews situation was a problem. The way that that played out. And then the bottom line is that the players weren't responding to Ishmael. And it certainly seemed that in the brand new year of this year, that it was really going to be a matter of time for Ishmael. The players really did not rally around him and did not play for him in at least the last month and a half of the season, if not more. But the bottom of the month of the time that Val was there. But the bottom line is that once Tom Cleverley came in, it's been a different gravy at the Vic. And at least Watford fans can go into the summer with the knowledge that you've got a team that has effort in its middle name. And certainly the prospects of something better seem to be on the horizon next season. This has been the YouOrns 10-minute take.